Hi there, it's Steve from Steve M Outdoors here, and today I have a long-term review of the Hornady Lock and Load Case Prep Trio, a case prep station that sits in the mid-range of case prep options, somewhere between using hand tools and the high-end workstations that have multiple options and included case trimming, and it's designed to help you with what at least I consider to be some of the worst parts of reloading. Now, the most popular video on this channel, at least in terms of views, was one that I did back in late 2016 that showed you how you can use a powered hand drill to do some case prep, including chamfering, deburring, primer pocket cleaning, and reaming. Now, as that video showed, if you have a drill and some cheap bits, you could do case prep on the cheap and easy. Now, what about those of you who want to spend some money and go for a higher end option? Well, not long after I did that video, I actually went out and bought the Case Prep Trio, a tool that's been around for about a decade, I think. Now, depending on where you shop, you can buy them for about $100 US or $150 Canadian. And it promises to help make the case prep process easier. But does it? Well, let's find out. So when you open up the package, you're going to find the unit itself, which has an aluminum housing containing what Hornady describes as a low-speed, high-torque motor, power cord that's about 4 feet long, and chamfer and deburring tools. Now, as you can see, the unit lives up to its name by having 3 stations that you can attach tools to, and they all spin in unison once the unit is powered on. Now, as you can see here, there is some onboard storage where you can screw other tools in to keep them handy, though I find they do tend to get in the way when you're using the Case Prep Trio. It's a fairly light unit, so you'll probably have to keep a hand on it, and that's when the onboard storage can become more of a nuisance than a help. Although you can actually mount this unit to something, eliminating the need to hold on to it. Now, the tools themselves use the standard 832 threads, so tools from Hornady, RCBS, and other manufacturers can all be attached, which is a good thing because they only give you, as I stated, these 2 tools, and it's a 3 station unit. So if you want to do more than chamfer and deburr, you're going to have to go out and buy the necessary tool heads, unless, of course, you have them already. Now, I have mine typically to set up to chamfer, deburr, and clean primer pockets, but you can set this up any way that you like, again, that you provided that you go out and buy the other tools, or that you have them. So, does this unit actually save you time? The one problem with my do-it-yourself drill method is that you can only use 1 tool at a time. So after you chamfer, then you must switch tools to deburr and lather, rinse, repeat for anything else that you want to do. Having the 3 stations does save you a bit of time in that you can do 3 processes in rapid succession to a shell casing without switching tools. It is, as you can see, a pretty small package, so it doesn't take up a lot of room. Really, that's about it. It's less than a hand width. A plus if you have a reloading bench that's packed with equipment. It's also quite clean in operation because the low-speed motor doesn't really send brass flying all over the place like my drill method occasionally does. It uses the usual chamfer, deburring, reaming, cleaning, and brush tools, so the results that you get from it are going to be about the same as you would from any method that uses those same tools. So in that respect, it actually does a pretty fine job. It also saves some wear and tear on your wrists and fingers. You know, hand tools obviously result in a lot of turning, and the drill method, you know, really needs a pair of pliers so that the heat generated on the brass casing doesn't reach your fingers. So, you know, and that also can cause some cramped hands after a while. Now, for a unit this size, I'm always concerned about the longevity of the motor, but in this case, for over 1.5 years on thousands of casings, it's run as well as the day I bought it. Long-term use doesn't appear to be a concern. Now, I do notice that you can slow the motor down if you really press the casing against one of the tools, but it has the necessary torque to keep going, so the power is there. Now, I have read that the gears inside are made of plastic, always a bit of a concern, but I can't say that I've had any problems with reliability. Now, finally, I don't know how important this is to you, but it is a fairly quiet unit. I'm going to demonstrate that right now as soon as I get this plugged in. So there it is in operation. And we'll just sacrifice a piece of 303 British brass here. That's it. That's really as loud as the unit gets. So, some cons about this. The big one is price. The Case Prep Trio does compete with a lot of cheap ways of doing the same thing, including the drill method and the hand tools that I've mentioned before, that you can buy from Lyman and RCBS, among others, or even Lee's zip tool. Having multiple stations has to be important to you if you're going to be spending $100 American or 150 Canadian. Price leads me to my second point, and that's for a tool that costs this much. I was a bit disappointed that it only came with the camphor and deburring tools. You know, throwing in some large and small primer pocket reaming and cleaning tools, as well as a brush or two, really wouldn't have cost Hornady that much money. I know a lot of us already have these tools if we own Case Prep hand tools, so you can repurpose the various heads and use them with the Case Prep Trio. But it seemed a bit on the chintzy side to sell a 3-station prepper and only include 2 tools. You know, it's something that I have noticed with Hornady is that do seem to expect you to buy add-ons that really should have been included with their equipment. Another potential negative for some people that the Case Prep Trio has is that it doesn't have the ability to trim shell casings, a big part of Case Prep. So if you don't have a solution already, you're either going to have to buy a dedicated solution or step up to a more expensive and inclusive Case Prep station that you can buy from several of the reloading companies. So is it worth it? I guess the question needs to be answered, is the Hornady Lock and Load Case Prep Trio actually worth the price of admission? Yeah, I'd say for the most part it is worth buying, if only for the convenience of having the multiple workstations while you're working case prep. It's going to save you some time from having to switch heads, so you only really need to handle each piece of brass once for this stage of prep. The quality is there. That's something I've never faulted Hornady on. So for the year and change that I've been using it, it's never had an issue. It is pricey compared to some of the cheap alternatives that are out there, but they do come with some extra effort, at least when it comes to the aforementioned hand tools. I would like to see Hornady utilize metal gears inside of the unit to make it bulletproof, because I have read some reviews online that said that the plastic gearing has broken. Again, not an issue that I've noticed, but you know, you never know. And include more than just the chamfering and deburring tools. You know, at least one or the other. You know, but maybe that would likely hike the price. So buy or not to buy? For me, it has enough positives that I would rate it a buy if you want to treat yourself a bit and move up from the DIY or manual ways of case prep. I don't think that it's a must own, but it does well enough that I don't think you'd be disappointed if you picked one up to add to the reloading bench. So I hope you found this video useful and informative. If so, please feel free to give the video a like and share it, or subscribe to the channel for more similar videos in the future. Below in the description, you'll find links to my Facebook page, where I post longer form content, and my Twitter page, where you'll find in the field reports and links to things that I find interesting. As always, enjoy the great outdoors, and may your shots all ring true.